Thank you all for coming. Yeah, and we can maybe get people to sit down, please. For the people on Zoom, we're going to be starting shortly. We are still waiting for Nami and Vivek and Isha and you're welcome to bring your plates. So you can take your, if you eat something. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think this is good Indian standard time.
Hey, can you guys see clearly? Jaya, Jerry?
Yes.
You're welcome to bring the plate in.
Can you see clearly? Can you see what's...
Yes, I can, but don't you want to place us in a better place where we can't see everyone's bums?
So thank you all for coming.
No, they're facing each other, so that's tricky. Yeah. You can see them one at a time.
We can see
I'll
them
move it
and we
later.
can hear
I'll move it
them.
later. I'll move it later.
Oh, thank you. Sure. So this is Mom's third book, and the reason we decided to have the launch today is because my brother's in town and he's leaving tomorrow. That's Harsh. And so we thought we should get the books before he leaves. And of course, in good Indian fashion, had to be postponed from the 14th to the 20th because the books didn't show up on time. But it's been a labor of love, I think, for Mom. And it has also been somebody, is that yours or mine? Okay. And so she's done a lot of research on Sindh, on the partition and the impact of partition, which she's going to share with you and tell you about. Now, Kishore dressed in all his good Sindhi finally with the Sindhi topi and everything, which is the typical topi of Sindh, and not his classic and usual trademark hat, which is what we have at the cover of the book. And okay, his sister also got it in her hand. So we have some friends who I had requested to say a few words about Kishore, and they've known him for a long time. And I think some of you will know Prem. Prem and Nana were not able to be here today, and neither was another friend, Rani, but we have lovely Harish and Poonam standing in for everyone. So could I request Harish to say a few words? Or Poonam? All right. Okay, both of you.
So we're clearly not Prem and Rani. I'm Poonam and Harish. So we've known Kishore for a very long time, through Prem and Rani, of course. And we used to do dinners together and lots of stuff together. Kishore also goes a long way back with my father-in-law, and who was an avid researcher of Sindh and the partition, because they also all came from Sindh, and in those days during the partition and everything. So anyway, so we are here on behalf of Prem and Rani, who go a long way back with Kishore. So here's the speech that Rani was supposed to say about Kishore.
It's all bad. It's all bad.
Secrets that coming out, yeah. Deep dark secrets. Okay. So it says, meet Kishore, a close family friend whose connection with them goes way back. So this is Rani speaking. She says that so Kishore's dad, Mr. Shewaram, was good friends with Rani's dad, who is Mr. K. Mohan. So Kishore first met Rani's dad at the Asia Insurance Building in the 1950s. And that moment left a strong impression on dear Kishore here. Apparently, he was overwhelmed to learn that his father's friend had an office that was then the tallest building in Singapore. So, is that okay?
Was the tallest.
Yeah.
And in the 1950s, Poonam and I was not born yet.
And over time, Rani and Kishore's bond grew stronger through a mutual friend, Prem. The three of them would meet regularly, diving into deep conversations about life and its many aspects. It was also during this time that Kishore introduced Rani and Prem to Katie, his girlfriend at that time. And as their relationship blossomed, so did all of their friendship. So the four of them all got together a lot. Eventually, they had the honor of being Kishore's best man and lady for his wedding. Kishore's generous nature was something that stood out for both Prem and Rani. As a testament to his kindness, he treated them both to an unforgettable trip to Sydney before his wedding, creating many memories that they still cherish today. I'm very jealous. There you go.
Still waiting for us.
Yeah. So their friendship continues till today. And the respect they have for each other has never wavered. I mean, I know these guys meet for lunches constantly. I know this for a fact. Now in his 70s, Kishore remains the same, generous, head full of hair, and as dashing as ever. And of course, his passion for his hats, as you can see, is still going strong. A signature touch that perfectly reflects his unique personality. I agree with that one. Be it a fedora, a Panamanian, or simply a cowboy hat, he cuts a handsome figure sporting it. Ladies and gentlemen, Kishore.
So my wife put me on the spot. I wasn't supposed to say. So the deal was she would be the one speaking on me. She's done. So okay, I'll tell you two words that I remember Kishore about. When I think about Kishore, I remember two words. One, meditation. And two, Tabasco.
Yeah.
If you need Tabasco collection, if you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. But in all seriousness, my journey to meditation started with this young man. I remember in his home in Nana Mansions, previous base, I sat with him in his room in the dark, and he had this little contraption that later I realized he was selling it to me. Then later I had this little contraption at the front of my back straight. Yeah, but he then ended up selling it to me like a good Sindhi guy, and we still have it for sure. But my journey to meditation started with him, and it's probably the best gift I could ever ask for from another human being. And ever since then, Kishore and I have been friends. Not as close as Prem and Rani. We don't go for lunches regularly.
Or to Australia.
There you go, yeah. Which is kind of disappointing because it's very clear that the bias is around Kishore. You're getting some nice feedback here. But I think he's a magnificent gentleman. he is someone who's got a lot of life in him, and he'll bend his knees and he'll go for walks and all kinds of stuff. I remember the dinner at was Cricket Club that we had the last time. That was really a nice evening. Lots to eat, lots to drink, lots to chat. And I think Kishore reminds me of someone who's full of life. So the son-in-law from Sindh is very apt because I wasn't born in the 50s, although I may look like I was, but it's very clear Sindh also has a very special part for me because my father came from Hyderabad, Sindh at that point before the partition. I never knew a lot about it, so I'm actually was pretty excited when Auntie wrote the book and the title Son of Sindh, and I now get to go into Sindh through your book and through your son-in-law, which I'm looking forward to at the same time. So congratulations to both of you, and God bless.
We could go on with more stories about Kishore from as many people as possible. But if Mom would like to just read a little bit from the book, just to explain, do you want me to start?
Can you come a bit closer? Can you move the chair? Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Namaste to everyone. And I'm so happy that most of Katie's friends have turned up. Welcome. And where do I start talking about my son-in-law? You see, we met in 2005. It's nearly 20 years now since I have known Kishore. But when I came to visit him in Singapore, that's when I was intrigued by the Singaporean. Now, I dedicate this book to all you Singaporeans, this multicultural, multi-ethnic, multilingual crowd that calls itself Singaporean. It is to you that I dedicate this book. Singapore, with its welcoming arms, took care of the hordes of people who traveled all the way from Sindh, Pakistan. Now, coming to the book itself, about the book is what I wanted to tell you. Why this book had to be written. Kishore's nieces and the young people in the family had no clue about what had transpired in their lives, in their parents' lives, because the parents themselves came over as young children. So, what do we know about the past? Now, this was a thought that inspired me to go searching for information. Today's world is so helpful in technology, and with Katie's Singapore Library membership, I could access a whole lot of information. Now, sifting all that, that would have become a huge compendium of information. I didn't want it to be just information. One can lay your hands on any book in the library and get a whole lot of it in one stroke. Instead, I thought, why not I knit it up with Kishore? He's part of that crowd. How did they come here? What happened? So this book is about the travails that the people had, the kind of life they had led earlier, and the kind of systems, the social network that they had was something so different from what we are used to. You see, in our culture here, we, at least in India, we have, there's predominantly the Hindus, the Sikhs, the Muslims, and then you have the Christians and a handful of Parsis, These are the 5 denominations that are everywhere. But each of them has got zats. So you have this jat, that jat, achhoot, untouchables, and so on and so forth. What is wonderful about the Sindhi culture is there is no untouchability. There is no class system. There is no dat, bade unche nahi hai. But the entire society revolves around the kind of professions that they had. So it was basically a professional classification rather than, superiority versus inferiority, touchability versus untouchability. So that, gave me a lot of food to think that if modern society has to develop, it has to go on that basis. Everybody is equal. And the Sindhi culture predominantly emphasizes that. You will see in this book, besides the cultural aspect and the professional stratification of society, how it has evolved from a matriarchal society to what it is today. But there is an equality in the genders. So this book gives you a lot of fodder to think about, and especially younger folk, I find are now trying to probe their roots. We came across a video on which there was some people talking about the past. So all these things put together, and your famous architect of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, his Netflix, I saw the whole thing several times. In fact, I can easily become a volunteer for the PAP shortly. So the kind of information that I have got is all condensed here. It is not in one huge page after page, but tiny bits of information. You can follow it further. The son-in-law from Sindh delves into the intricate cultural tapestry of the Bhai Bandh community, a vibrant, resilient people whose stories are largely untold. Set against the backdrop of undivided India, this book traces families' journeys as they navigate the complex landscapes of identity, migration, and assimilation. From the bustling streets of Hyderabad, Sindh, and Karachi to the colorful enclaves of Singapore and Malaysia, this brings to life a world where family bonds, societal expectations, and rich cultural heritage shape every choice. Through the experiences of a couple bound by love, yet challenged by the community's expectations, son-in-law from Sindh captures both the beauty and the struggle of preserving one's roots while adapting to new surroundings. The story concerns resilience, love, and enduring ties, connecting a scattered community across generations and continents. In the twilight of his life, the protagonist grapples with his memories. It was a slow, heartbreaking loss. Each slips away like the grains of sand. Diagnosed with the awful Alzheimer's, he faces a tragic toll of the past traumas and experiences that have worn down his resilience. Yet, amidst the shadows of forgetfulness, one light remains steady, and that is the love that binds him to his family. The tender, unwavering relationship becomes his anchor and helps to sustain cherished bonds and connects him to his past, even though it fades. Through the support and patience of his wife and loved ones, he finds moments of clarity, allowing the enduring power of love to shine through the darkest moments of his journey. a loner with previous marriages under his belt, at last finds peace and solace with his Tamilian Brahmin wife, who's highly educated and pulls apart in every which way. A marriage that has endured 18 years helps to stabilize the fractured nuances of his life. As he says very often, ACK or kya chahiye? I quoted that. As a sonnery, I consider it an honor to record the nuances of his saga in this little book. One of the things that I have deliberately left out here is during the partition, that I have given the partition letters from Sharjah, the University of Sharjah, written by two eminent historians themselves. I have given the part. They have dealt with 5 factors that caused the partition. There was a 6th factor which I deliberately held back, and that is about how the Sindhis were left down by Gandhi ji. No matter, Mahatma Gandhi is revered in India, and I felt that I could not come out with that bold statement in this book because it would lead us nowhere. There would be arguments and harangue, and I would be harassed for life. My idea was not to be put into that position, nor drag the family into that kind of an argument. But the fact remains that Gandhiji turned a blind eye when the Mujahirs came in, forged and swept through Hyderabad, Sindh. And it's a pity that Jinnah mesmerized Gandhiji on that particular note. The rest of it, you can find it in Godse's letters, as when he was asked, why did you shoot Gandhiji? And that's the answer he gave. My brethren in Hyderabad, Karachi, were massacred. You turned a blind eye. You don't deserve to. That is what he has recorded in his statement, which was presented at the court. So that is Godse's answer to the fact that the people of Hyderabad, Sindh, were harassed beyond redemption. A bit of it has been featured in the book, but what is most important and a very positive thing is they were the first exporters. And guess what they exported first? The Sindhi topi. That's why I asked him to wear this in spite of his marshal for the hat. I asked him to wear it because this was exported by the Sindhis from Hyderabad, the Baibas, of which Kishore is one, to all over the Middle East, to Turkey and parts of the world which are adjacent to Iran, Israel, all those places. So they were the first exporters from India, undivided India. With this, I think I will leave you all to judge for yourself whether the book really conveys all this or not. Thank you very much for
What do I want to say?
If you have
Uh,
to say something.
you say it's.
Yeah, no, I'm just so blessed. That's all, thank you.
Oh, that's very.
और क्या चाहिए